The X-Men universe is filled with powerful mutants that wield some truly extraordinary powers, and many of them often go unnoticed due to the sheer number of mutants that make up this vast universe. Consequently, Clarice Ferguson, also known as Blink, was one such mutant whose powers went unnoticed by fans for a long time until her appearance in Days of Future Past. Blink had briefly appeared in an alternate Age of Apocalypse timeline before this, but Days of Future Past explored her powers in all her glory. Blink had the ability to generate teleportation warp portals that could displace people as well as objects, among other things. And today, we will explore the unique features of her anatomy and tell you all about her. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How did the troubled origins of Blink mutant set up her story arc? After discovering her powers at a young age, Blink, or Clarice, struggled to keep them under control. She was terrified by the extent of her powers and was later captured by Phalanx, who wished to assimilate the powers of several mutants. Even in captivity, Blink failed to master her teleportation abilities and would end up creating a Blink wave that could shred any being in the vicinity. In one such instance, Blink cut a Phalanx entity named Harvest, who was responsible for taking care of Blink. However, she was caught up in her own teleportation field while attacking Harvest, and she died as a result of this. Blink's supposed death was not in vain, and her sacrifice helped free the lives of the rest of the captives. Several arcs later, we learn that Blink is still alive and that she's being held captive by Selene, who manipulated Blink into working against the X-Men. When Selene died, Blink initially tried to resurrect her, but the X-Men finally helped her break free from the clutches of Selene's mental manipulation. Emma then invited Blink to join the X-Men, but she turned her invite down. Blink decided to live a better life and use her powers to help the needy. Her actions caught Cyclops' eye, who sent the new mutants to find Blink and invite her to join the X-Men. In the meantime, Wolverine also wanted her to be a part of Jean Grey's School of Higher Learning. Eventually, Blink decided to join Wolverine's side, but she returned to the new mutants occasionally. What is Blink like? Appearance and personality explored. Several actors have played Blink over the years, but her appearance hasn't changed much across these versions, and she has a few fixed physical features. For instance, Blink is known for having eccentric hair colors and facial tattoos. In the comics, Blink's skin was purple in color, and she had pink hair and bright green eyes. Her facial tattoos helped her stand out among other mutants, and they are one of her defining features. In the movies, Blink appeared as a regular human in terms of physical appearance, but she still had sharp facial features and tattoos near her eyes. She had long pink hair that she mostly wore in a long braid that extended up to her waist. She wore a fitted black outfit in most of her film appearances, while her comic counterpart wore green outfits that matched her piercing green eyes. Blink was initially a scared young mutant who struggled to exert control over her powers. Over time, she underwent tremendous personality development and embraced her full potential. In the mainstream continuity, Blink was manipulated by Selene quite early on in her story arc, but she eventually grew into an independent individual. She developed her own values and opinions on things, and no one could order her to do something she didn't agree with. While Blink could work alongside other mutant groups, she retained her individuality even in a big group and didn't just follow someone's orders. She preferred exploring things independently and learning from her experiences, and she certainly came a long way from where she started. Is she a descendant of Apocalypse? Apocalypse is one of the first mutants in the Marvel Universe, and it only makes sense that many mutants have descended from him. The Apocalypse vs. Dracula miniseries established that Blink was one of his descendants by establishing an ancestral link with Clan Akaba that strive to preserve their lineage. In the 20th century, one of the clan members, Frederick Slade, fathered a child with a woman named Miss Ferguson. Frederick had pink hair, green eyes, and the ability to teleport just like Blink, and we can certainly establish that Blink did descend from Apocalypse. Blink suffered greatly in her childhood, and the Age of Apocalypse version of her character was captured by the Dark Beast and subjectified to horrifying experiments. The X-Men in this timeline, consisting of Sabretooth and Weapon X, finally rescued her from the Dark Beast. Blink grew up under the watchful eye of Sabretooth, aka Victor Creed, who cared for her like a real father. Was Blink possessed and in a trance when she was presumed dead? Blink ended up bearing the brunt of her teleportation attack while attacking Harvest, and she was presumed dead for a long time after that. After about 20 years, it was revealed that she was alive and resurrected by Selene. During the events of Necrotia, the invulnerable vampire entity known as Selene had brought several dead mutants back to life. We also learned that Blink was just trapped in a pocket reality when she used her teleportation powers, and that Selene rescued her from there. Blink was in constant pain in this reality, and she felt indebted towards Selene for saving her. Selene saw this as an opportunity to mentally manipulate Blink and compel her to turn to the dark side. While Blink didn't inherently wish to use her powers for evil, Selene possessed her and used her powers to overthrow the X-Men. How do Blink's teleportation warp portals work? Blink was famously known for her teleportation abilities, among other things, and she could generate light pink portals that would displace someone or something from one place to another. Once she learned how to control her powers, Blink could determine the area of displacement and create teleportation portals that would take people as far as the moon. On an advanced level, Blink could use her powers for trans-spatial displacement bills. This essentially referred to her ability to dodge any attack by displacing the weapon directed at her or anyone else. In this manner, she would displace knives, javelins, or any weapon that could harm her. Blink not only used this power to defend herself, but also attack her opponents by redirecting their weapons at them with the help of a teleportation portal. Blink's powers would sometimes malfunction, and she would then use a malfunctioning portal to cut her opponents, just like she attempted to do with Harvest. Blink displayed the ability to teleport certain parts of a weapon. For instance, she could teleport the bullets of a gun. Blink could also create javelins that work as warp beacons and latch onto a person or an object. Blink could choose where to send these objects or beings, and the javelins would ensure that they translocated to that spot. In fact, Blink's alternate version on Earth 295 could create javelins that appeared as crystals and then use them as projectiles that could teleport anything that came in contact with. These javelins could redirect an attack, injure her opponents by cutting through them, or even cause them to fall unconscious. Some of her lesser-known powers explored. Besides her teleportation abilities, Blink was adept at hand-to-hand combat and had excellent aim. She was quite agile, and her unmatched accuracy and agility made up for a deadly combination of powers. On Earth 616, Blink even dabbled in black magic when trying to bring Selene back to life. During a story arc on What If, Blink found herself in the realm of a cosmic entity named an In-Betweener and temporarily gained the ability to warp reality and create illusions. She uses these powers to make the world a better place and end the human-mutant conflict, but she eventually loses those abilities. Exploring the powers of Blink in the movie X-Men Days of the Future Past. Blink appeared in X-Men Days of the Future Past, where Fan Bingbing did an excellent job of portraying this character. The movie was set in a dystopian 2023, where robots known as Sentinels hunted down mutants and humans with genetic predispositions to create mutant children. Blink plays quite an impressive role in the film, and we witness her in all her glory as she defeats several Sentinels with her teleportation abilities. She works as a part of the Free Mutants team under Bishop's leadership, and their group ends up being attacked by the Sentinels. While Blink uses her powers to fight the Sentinels and protect her teammates, she gets killed after Sentinel impales her from behind. However, Shadowcat somehow undoes this event by sending Bishop back in time, and Blink returns to life in an altered timeline where the X-Men move to a monastery in China. At the monastery, Blink and the others come across Storm, Wolverine, Professor X, and Magneto, and formulate a plan to send Wolverine back in time to undo the creation of the Sentinels. While Wolverine embarks on this adventure, the surviving X-Men once again fall victim to a Sentinel attack, and Blink initially puts up a good fight against them. She creates portals that would redirect the Sentinels' attacks at each other, and even uses teleportation vacuums to confuse them and disorient their movements. Blink single-handedly gets rid of several Sentinels, but is sadly killed after 3 different Sentinels impale her from different directions. Blink and her romantic relationships. Blink was involved in several romantic relationships while working alongside the X-Men, and she once caught the eye of the mighty Proteus. Proteus had the ability to alter reality and possess others, and he was mostly kept in prison on the Muir Island. During the House of M story arc, Proteus was reborn, and the Exiles team then strived to find him and get him back into captivity. During this time, Blink worked with the Exiles and was romantically involved with another member named Mimic. When Proteus encountered Mimic, he possessed his body and eventually killed him. While Blink lost her lover, she was shocked to learn that Proteus had retained Mimic's emotions from when he possessed his body. Subsequently, Proteus developed feelings for Blink, and he expressed these feelings to her in a twisted way that was disrespectful to Mimic's genuine feelings. On another occasion, Blink found herself in an alternate reality where she got romantically involved with the Fantastic Four supervillain, Annihilus. In this arc, Apocalypse had taken control over the world while Blink suffered from amnesia and traveled to the negative zone to find a way to defeat Apocalypse. During this interdimensional adventure, Blink joined hands with a resistance group that was trying to overthrow Blastar. She soon became close to one of the group members named Amur, and the two developed feelings for each other. One might wonder what this might have to do with Annihilus, but we soon learn that Amur is a younger version of the supervillain in a shocking revelation. It's revealed that Annihilus regressed to a younger age after fighting Blastar, and that Amur was just an alternate version of Annihilus after he lost his throne. Is Blink immortal? Just like other mutants such as Cyclops and Jean Grey, Blink's character has undergone several deaths and resurrections. Over her story arc, Blink has died several times in different timelines and in the same continuity, and it's safe to say that she's not immortal. She was the first killed off barely after a month of being first introduced in the Uncanny X-Men comics in 1994. Blink certainly had a lot of potential, and it's quite sad to witness her death over and over again. She was killed off by the Ultimate Universe version of Mojo in another comic, and she once presumably died due to her own powers and reappeared 20 years later with Selene's help. While it must be noted that Blink did come back to life in many unique ways after most of her deaths, she was still not immortal and could be killed easily.
Join me. Fight together in a brotherhood of our kind.
Conclusion. To sum it up, Blink is certainly quite an interesting presence in the X-Men universe, and she has quite a tumultuous story arc. From being manipulated by Selene to choosing to work with Wolverine, Blink came quite far, and she especially outshone everyone in Days of Future Past. She had an impressive set of powers, and while she initially struggled with them, she finally mastered them and proved herself to be an extremely valuable member of the X-Men. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.